Hello everyone and welcome to Nextjs series tutorial. In this part, we're gonna implement more styles to our application. We will use Bulma as CSS framework, and also a new modern approach in CSS world is Modules, CSS Modules. If you don't have code for the previous part, please find the link in the description of the video. So let's start. If you have everything that I have now, let's first of all have a look at our application, at the final application. So that's what we're going to build today, these cars and also the inputs, also this image and the navbar. Before we start, let's prepare a bit the image folder. Here I already added two images. One is just a simple loader that I found in the Google and internet. You can just take any loader you want, not necessarily a GIF, just maybe an image, so that's up to you. Then this study.svg is this main header image, and for this I want to recommend this website. It's andro.co, which has really nice graphics here, also for free, because the license here says that you can use it for, you can use for both commercial and personal use, so it's a nice thing. And here, if we browse, we have a lot of good images, which is actually drawn very modern and stylish. And also what is really amazing, that you can also pick the color. So what I did, I picked this color because it matches my theme, like green or something. And the image I picked, but you can pick, of course, any image you want, sorry. Is this one, I think, yeah. Then I click download, and here in the project, I put it to the study.svg. So, okay, now when you have both images downloaded, let's continue building, styling our application. So here we have the folder. You probably don't have this folder. In the src, just create a folder with the name CSS. Here we will use all our styles. And we also use Sass, not regular CSS, because I usually use Sass as a preprocessor, because in this tutorial we will use also variables, which is only available in Sass or any other CSS preprocessors. Let's a bit speak about Bulma. So this is the website of a Bulma, bulma.io, and it's actually a nice framework because it's based on Flexbox, but I actually just use Flexbox, and it's quite modern. And what is very nice, that it has no JavaScript. Maybe it's not nice for everyone, but this is a poor CSS framework, and I will use it exactly because of this. One thing I want to show you is this survey. Previously I showed the state of JavaScript, also a good survey when we found some information about Nextjs. Here it's also the same creators, it's state of CSS from 2019. Here in the, I think, the technologies, in the CSS frameworks, we can find what people think about current CSS frameworks. And we see Bootstrap, the awareness is really high, because I think everyone knows Bootstrap, but the satisfaction rate and interest is really low. It means it lost the popularity. What is the highest satisfaction is Tailwind. Tailwind is a hot topic nowadays, but I decided to not use it in this tutorial because I'm not a big fan of atomic CSS approach. It's an approach when you have a lot of small utility classes and you build every HTML element with these classes. Why I don't like this? Because your component, your HTML really grows, and I actually personally don't like when my HTML is so huge and dirty with these CSS classes. So my pick, obvious, was the second framework, which is Bulma. And I think that really solved my case for this tutorial, and it's easy to use. I think you will enjoy. What also we will use CSS Modules, which is a really cool approach for naming collision problem. So before we do this, let's just open Nextjs, and here just press find Sass. If we find SAS, we have here the information that Nextjs is really amazing. Job is done in Nextjs because you really don't need to configure anything. You can just use SCSS by just installing SAS, and that's all. No additional configuration, which is really cool. And also, which is really cool, the module, CSS modules, you can also use without any additional configuration. That's also very amazing. So let's do this. We already have this folder. Before we do this, we will install Bulma and SAS. So yarn add SAS -d, because it's a dev dependency. It's only the preprocessor of CSS. And also let's say yarn add Bulma, but not -d because it's a normal dependency. Meanwhile, let's create this folder if you don't have the folder, CSS, and also add here the file, which is styles.scss. Here's our main styles. Let's put here some styles, like for example, HTML and body, sorry, no semicolon, and body padding 0, so just some reset styles of normal HTML, and margin also 0. So let's use this. For example, if we import this into index.js, let's see what happens. Make import and styles, sorry, CSS. Then let's make yarn dev to start. Let's open it. I think I already opened this. Yeah, it's here. Let's refresh. What we will notice now that we should see an error. And an error will say that if you use the import like this, you should use it only in the main component. Let's see if this is exactly the error. This is, yeah. What it actually says here, that global CSS cannot be imported from files other than custom app, because Nextjs is stopping us from a mistake. A mistake you can do, for example, if it allows you to do this. Imagine I have here one class, like a button, which is red, sorry, color red, and in another component, I also have styles that are imported like this with the same name button. So if you think that every component will use their own CSS file, like they will be encapsulated, they will be per component, that of course will not happen, because that's not like CSS works. And to have the styles per component, you have different approaches how to have this. One of the approaches is to use some CSS methodology, like BEM, like block element modifier. So you don't have name collision. Another approach is to use something like style.js, styled components. So you put all your CSS here, because I think we also have in Nextjs support for style.js by default. You don't need to do anything. So something like this. And then you have here in one string, you can type all your CSS, and I think that should work. It works by default in Nextjs. And then these styles, they will be encapsulated. They will be per component. But I advise to use really another approach. So first of all, let's cut this from here and put it where it is suggested to the app.js here. Now we should not see any problems. I think compiled successfully. Let's refresh. Yeah, and works. So it's a normal behavior because this style.css is now really global, so they are applied for every component. But what we will do to have a styles per component, I want to make a CSS modules, want to use the CSS modules, and that's what we actually will do. So before we continue, we already have the Bulma and SAS, and it looks like it's working. Let's import a Bulma first of all. Import Bulma, we can immediately notice this because the font of the standard font of the page, it will change a bit. So we'll notice that you imported Bulma. Let's do this. To import Bulma in the global, in the styles.css, that is global CSS, make an import, this add, because it's Sass notation. And first of all, okay, let's just import Bulma. Save and see the difference. I think we should see that the fonts are changed, yeah? Is it changed? I think it's not changed. Let's refresh again. Yeah, now it's changed. Okay. Yeah, now we can see that the font has really changed. It means the Bulma styles they applied. Not many of them, but still. What I also do, I will create my own theme, and for this I will just override some standard Bulma variables. And to do this, I will create a file here, which is colors for my application, which is colors CSS. And to save time, I will just copy paste the colors now. But you can also go to the description, in the description of the video, find the GitHub link and copy the colors from the finished this part. Let me copy the color. This is our colors. So we actually have the green, the dark green, gray, light gray, and black, which is okay, just black, normal black. So that colors that we will use. Let's now import these colors into styles.css. And what is really important that we need to import it before Bulma. It's very important because if you import it after, then they will not affect your Bulma theme. It will be just the standard one. And let's override some colors. This is the moment where I override the Bulma colors. And I use app green, which is my green, not the green from the Bulma, not the default one. And also let's use for the link app black. So we have black links. Yes. I think now we can't see anything because it's probably just the link color will change. Let's see. Yeah, now the link color is changed. Let's continue. So first thing I want to do, I want to create a page class here, which is just a bit of a margin, 20 pixels, 15 pixels, 20 and 15. And I want to use this because it's a global CSS and it's a not module CSS. I use it like I actually just a normal CSS class. So I go to the app.js and here wrap our component into div with the class name page. Put it here. I think now we should see just a bit of a margin in our page. Yeah, you can see the margin here now. And it's also let's also speak about one thing that I actually forgot to mention, but it's very useful and it's need to be used here in the underscore app.js. It's a special thing in Nextjs, which is header. We need to import header, head from next/head. What is the head? Head actually it's the special thing that we'll put just before the navbar, and here in the head section we can put any text that you just put in the normal head section in HTML document. For example, title, which is GitHub repos in our case, and let's see just here if it's changed. Yeah, now it's GitHub repos here, and any for example the description, meta text, language, any normal text, HTML text you put in the head section. This is very useful because we're using server-side rendering, we can help our for the search engine optimization. Okay, I think it's enough for the app.js. Let's continue with, and also for the global styles and for the colors, we did this setup. Now let's start build the things. So because we have the image, sorry, let's also close this. So we have this image already downloaded. Let's use it. And let's copy the navbar first, then copy the inputs from Bulma documentation, and then the cards. And this is, I think, all for this tutorial, and then we'll continue in the next part. But the tutorial is pretty done, I think, very close, nearly done. Let's go here to the documentation and find the components, and here navbar, and we will replace our navbar with this one. Let's copy everything we have here and go to the navbar component, to the components, navbar. Yeah, and here we have the links. We will need to replace the links, so let's just for now put it here. And we see that there's an error, and this is because React can't understand some tags that are not closed, like for example image. So we need to put here the close tag. I think it has more, not only this one, so that we also see the error. But yeah, let's try to close this one, probably. No, that actually should stay. Okay, just forget about this. This is not so important. Just let's. I think because of this div. Okay. Then we don't need the div anymore. Actually, we can just remove this. Then these two links, let's copy them. Let's copy at least one, yeah, and remove it completely. Okay. Then this is the home link, and if you remember, the link before was the item. And what we need to do, we need to paste it here and copy this link here. Then I think we need to do exactly the same idea for the about page. Let's copy this one here and this one, and then make it about, and also change this to about. So I think at this point it's already should work. Let's see what happened here. Okay, we have the navbar actually, which is very nice. Let's also copy from here the emoji that I have here, I think, or just find the emoji and find this emoji, which is, I think, a crate, like a package or package. Yes, let's copy this one and go to here and put it here, and also here in the class make it is primary. It will make it the green that actually we picked, and we overrode this into colors. Yeah, now we have this green. If you want to really see the difference between the standard Bulma theme and my theme, you need to go here. Sorry, you need to go here, and in the colors, in the styles.css, for example, just comment these two lines, and you'll see that this is a bit different green that I put. Very slow. Yeah, this is more bright color, but if you uncomment this, you'll see that this is a more dark green. Actually, we of course don't need to refresh. It just takes so much time for some reason to rebuild. So we have a bit darker color, so I just changed a bit the colors. Okay, so let's continue with, so we made a navbar, that's pretty enough. I think it's also responsive, but as you see, this one appears, but if you click, it's nothing. That's because the CSS framework Bulma is only the CSS, so no JavaScript here. To make it interactable, you need to implement this. Let's see if the links works. Amazing, yeah, everything works. Okay, this is a bit wrong. Let's fix this one. So yeah, this is the href, which is also wrong. What we can do, we need to make it also a link like this. And close the link here. Let's test if it works. Click here, click about here. Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. It just takes so much time because of the server-side rendering, making the call to the GitHub API. Nice. So navbar is done, which is very cool. Let's close this. Then now you understand how this this is actually the primary. The color as I put is primary. This is this color. So that's how I overrode the theme, the default theme of Bulma. And let's start with the image. Finally, this is the final result here. And this is image. Let's use it. We go to the index.js, and here, just before the search, let's put the image and source, and here let's put because it's in public by default. Let's go to the img/study.srg. Yeah, okay, we have the image now. It's very huge, but we will fix it very soon now. So let's use the CSS model here. It's the first page we will use our CSS Model Approach. Create a new file here in the pages, index.module.scss. Yeah, so this is, you can just type here any normal CSS, no difference. It just difference how we use it here. So first of all, let's make a container for the page itself. Yeah, we make it display flex and flex direction column and align items center. Then let's create a class for the logo. Make it width 500 pixels, for example. Then margin bottom 15 pixels and padding left 15 pixels and padding right 15 pixels. This is for the device, for the mobile. It will have a bit of a space from the left and right when you just have this image, which is very huge. I think you don't need to refresh, actually. It should be refreshed. Okay, it's not used. It's not used. Yeah, let's use it. In the index.js, make something like import from here, pick a index CSS model, and here name it styles. Of course, you can make it whatever you want, but this is not a normal CSS, it's a module, which actually means it's uses JavaScript. It's in the end, it's like an object, like a JavaScript object. You'll see how I will use it now. Here, I make class name, and I don't put like container. I use the JavaScript notation, and I access the styles as an object, and any CSS class from this file is a property of this object. It actually means that I can't invent something like this, because it will just not work. If I want two words names, I need to do something like this. This is something that you need to keep in mind. Sometimes it's annoying that you can't do it, but because of the keys of an object, you must make names without a hyphen, without dashes, and so on. Yeah, and for the image, let's also make a class name logo. The same approach from styles.logo. Let's test this. Refresh. Yeah, but it's not applied. Let's see what's wrong here. Okay, it should be logo, not log. Okay, yeah, very cool. So probably you have the idea now how to use CSS models. We will build 2 more styles here, I think, for this inputs and for the every repo. So I think it will be a bit easier to understand later. Let's continue with the inputs. And for the inputs, we need to go to the documentation of a Bulma, find the form, and here we have input. Yeah, this is just a normal input. Yeah, we need this one, which is a green one. And let's copy the field here. And find here shared component, which is TextInput.js. And let's just a bit modify this. I will temporarily put it here. So actually what we need to do, we need to create also control and field. So let's copy this here. Also make this closing div again. And this is a field, and we also need a control. Let's just copy this class name here. Change them both to the class name. And here we have the label, and we have the input, which should be this one. Let's also copy these inputs here. Change this to class name. Remove all that. Save it. Okay. So I don't need. Yes, and also let's make here label. Put it here. This is just my mistake, sorry. Yeah, let's see actually if it's just exactly what I wanted. Yeah, okay, that now much better, looks much better. Yeah, now let's continue. I think that should also have the class name of a label. I'm not sure, but probably yes. Let's see if it changed something. Yes, okay. Now it's much better. Enough for the text input. Let's make this exactly the same for the select. Go to the select here in the Bulma CSS. Okay, the select is really easy, but we also need to make the same with the form and the field, because that will look actually better. So let's copy the same idea that we have in the input. First we have a control here, last name control. Then let's copy also the label from here, replace this label. Then select, as I understand. Okay, there should be another div before this, before select. Okay. It means this select goes to another div. Let's temporarily cut it. Put this one here, make a class name select. And all this we need to also wrap in one more div, which is field. Let's put everything here. Yeah, I think that's enough. Let's see if something actually changed. This is not green, and to make it green, we need to make it is primary, I think, here. Let's see if it helps. Yes, okay. Now these two fields are done. We will make them look better now. Yeah, and to also let's fix the loader, I think, because it's now loading, but we need an image. Okay, let's fix it a bit later. First of all, I want here to close both of these inputs here, also this one, and start to make styles for the search element. Let's go inside search. Yeah, and here inside search, we should create another file. which is search.module.sss. And let's create a class name search, display flex, flex wrap, then justify content center, and padding bottom something like 10 pixels, I think. Then we have a search input that will have width of 320 pixels and margin right 15 pixels. Then a language select, and we target the select with a width of 160 pixels. Of course, you can use any styling you want, just my styling if you want to copy them. What is very important here that you see I have two words in the class name, and of course I didn't use this approach. I made like a property of a JavaScript object because, as I said, you need to do this. So let's use it in the search. Let's import it. Search. Okay, here search model CSS. Also the name, I name it everywhere stylus. Yes, styles. And first of all, let's use it here in the main div, class name styles.search. Yeah. Then these two inputs. Yeah, let's see if something changed. Okay, nice. Then these two inputs, they are shared components, so they can have also a class name. For example, here we use search text, search input, and here we have a language select. But probably it will not work now. And this is the reason is that we pass this class name via prop. And here also, but in text input, we don't use it. So we need to make this component more extensible. So more extensible to support giving a class name. And this class name we need to use in the main div, so you can then override everything that is inside. It's a good approach I usually use for my components that I want to pass the class name. Also through the CSS, I use this approach. Let's also make one more trick here. Make a text input class name, or just class. And here, if you provide class name, then it's class name plus field. If no, it's just field. This is because we already have, This is because we already have the class name here. And if you have one more, it should be concatenated, not replaced. This should stay. That's why let's use this one. And we also repeat the same idea for the select, exactly the same idea. Also, let's provide here in the props a class name and rename this to select class. Also the field, exactly the same, just use it here. See if something changed. Okay, nice. Now our style they applied, which is very cool. Then let's continue with the RippleList. And for RippleList, we also need to create a CSS model. But first, let's fix this. Let's fix this and use here our image. The path here, it usually starts from the public, which is a static file folder. So you don't need to target these files. You just make a /image/loader div. Yeah, okay, but it's too big. We also make a bit more styles for this one. Let's in advance create here styles loader. Yeah, and import styles here, which is okay. I didn't create a file. Yeah, let's also create a file here, CSS file, RippleList. So I follow the same name of a component, but just in the end, I add module.scss. So yeah, just let's import it here. RippleList module.css. Yeah, okay, this we just keep it. Let's also make here a class name of styles.message, and also here let's make a class name styles.RippleList. Yes. Okay, let's implement it now. Start with a RippleList. RippleList will be also a display flex and flex wrap and justify content center. Then the loader, just make it a bit smaller, 25 pixels, 250, sorry. And the message, just a bit of a padding, I think, at top. 25 pixels of a padding. Okay. Yeah, that looks really weird. Let's type here React. Okay, we see how the loader is here. And then we see all of them. They are really weird, but we will fix it a bit later. Now we need to make the biggest CSS actually for the list item, which is will be look like a card. So let's create a repo list item module.css. Oh, sorry, not CSS, but SCSS. And import it here into import RippleList item model CSS styles. Okay. Then let's open a Bulma documentation again and find in the form, no, not in the form, in the components. Let's find the card, or let's better find into the layout. We should have a, I think something like box. Yeah, box. Yeah, box is much better. Just gives this border and nothing you need to do, just make a box. So exactly that I'm going to use this one. Just put here into RippleList item class name of box. Okay, looks much better now. Then let's make them a bit more detailed and also a bit more styled. So every RippleList item should have a class name styles.RippleList item. And here, let's make a class name here of a repo name. Styles.repo name. Okay. And go to the SCSS here, make a RippleList item. The width is something like 350 pixels. And the margin is 10 pixels. Display flex direction is column. And justify content is space between. Then we also target a link hover, and it will have a color of app green. But to have this access to our colors, we also need to import colors in this file. Let's import colors. Yes, and forgot to put here semicolon. Then also make a repo name class to have a margin bottom 10 pixels, I think, and a font weight 700, which make it bold. See the difference? Okay. Now if you hover, you see this green text, which is the main color of our theme. And let's make it more. Let's target the description. In description, we have a color of app gray. Yes. Okay, this actually margin doesn't work. I think that because I quite failed here. Okay, let's close everything and open again the RippleList item. I think I failed with this one. We need to swap them. Let's make a swap. Put the box here in the RippleList item class first. Let's see. Okay, now it's actually much more better. Yeah, because the margin was on the list item, not on the box, of course. So it actually means if you have a smaller device like mobile, it will be adjusted. It's all based on the flex box. They're all adjusted here. Still looks very nice even at mobile. This one is not good, but yeah, the best thing I could do in this amount of minutes. Okay, so let's finish this cart, and this is enough for this part, I think. So here have a description, but actually without a class name. Let's also use a styles.class name. Yes. Let's also add more styles here. Like we will have counters. And there will be display flags. We will have also language of our repo. It will be a font weight 700. And the color will be up dark green. Yeah. Then we have a counter, just the counter. Then we have color gray. Sorry, app gray. And background will be color up gray. Oh, sorry, light gray. Okay. Then let's make it border radius 20 pixels. Then padding like 2 pixels, 10 pixels, 2 pixels, and 10 pixels. And margin right of 15 pixels. Yes. Now let's make it let's add more information here. So we have a box. Maybe it makes sense to use this box also here. So let's make it a bit different. Let's make it a string literal. That's also a good thing to know, that you can do something like that. If you have CSS model class and a normal class, and you combine them, which is maybe not the best practice to do this, you can use this as string literal. And this box, actually, let's remove it from here. Yeah. So here we have a repo name. Let's also remove it from here and put it here. And then remove the description from the repo name. Put the description here. Okay, and let's also create more information here. The first is a footer. We have a footer, and the footer is, let's see, the final result. This is a footer. It will have counters of stars, of forks, and also a repo name. Let's have a footer here, and in the footer we have a counters div. And another div, which is language. In the language, just fast, let's make a span with the repo.language. And in the counters, let's also make a div counter multiply by 2. The first one will have also the span. Oh, sorry, span, and inside it will be repo stargazers count, I think. And here we will have a repo forks count. This is from GitHub API. That's why it's so weird names here. What's actually bad that I didn't use the styles here. Yeah, so also copied it everywhere. We need the same stuff, and also here. And in the language. I think we forgot to make a footer class. I just don't remember I did this. Okay. Let's make a footer. Make margin top 50 pixels. Display flex. And justify content space between. And here also let's make a span with margin left, I think, of 5 pixels. This is because this one should have an icon here. We'll add it a bit later, the icons. So let's see how it looks like. Okay. So the problem here that they are not the same size. This is because we should cut the description if it's too big. So that's exactly what I do now. Let's do this. Let's go here and create a function which is called cut description, which takes a text, and then if text length is bigger than 100, then just return description or text. Okay, let's call it description. Description slice from 0 to 100, then also add the dots. And if it's less than 100, just return the description. So now let's use this function when we use the description here. And that should help. That should make them pretty the same size, like almost the same size, which is very nice, I think. They're all the same size. Let's see how it looks at mobile version. Let's make them 2 or 1. Hover is working. Now we don't see what is this here, but we will add icons in the next series, so we'll have more idea about icons, and also we'll add the logo of, avatar of the user. Okay, I think we can also click, but the page is not created, so it will not work. But I'm pretty happy with this result actually. This means the application is nearly done, also really small things left, and then we will deploy this to a Vercel, which I think also will be very interesting. I hope to like my idea about the Bulma and CSS modules, and see you in the next series. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.